How to assemble a corner curio cabinet. Step 1. Open the box carefully and take all the items out. Watch out, there's glass inside. Each piece is labeled with a letter. Check it off on the list in the assembly instructions. Start with the piece labeled F, which is the bottom piece. Take pieces B and D, then flip them and take your cam nuts, these, and insert them into the holes in the end. Insert cam nuts to part C too. Get 6 bolts to connect part C, B, and D to part. Using the bolt, connect part F to part C. Make sure the cam nut hole is facing the right direction. Get a Phillips screwdriver and start tightening the bolt. That part C is attached, get your part B and using the same method as before, put it right there and attach it. Make sure that the groove for the glass in part B is aligned with the groove in part C. After attaching both D's in the same method, it should look something like this. Turns out we have a bit of labeling problems. They have put the I instead of the D, so to match the height of those poles we have to use the I piece instead of D. So here we have already attached the I piece and it's on the two front, so we take the other I, put it right here, and make sure the grooves are facing each other. And we connect it just as we connected the other. Get your two O mirrors and slide them into the grooves in the back right there between B and C. Should look something like that. Now do that to both sides, so there's a mirror here too. This is what it looks like so far, with both mirrors O into both sides from B to C on both. These are two similar E pieces, but use the one with these small 4 holes on 2 sides for the top of this. So just place it on top. Make sure you don't use the one without holes for this. Get the glass labeled with Q and slide it in between the grooves on I and I in the front piece of the set. Now slide it in all the way down. That is piece Q. Make sure you let your cat examine it before you move on. Make sure the cam nuts in the pieces B, C, and I are all in place before you put in your bolts. Use 5 bolts and connect the E piece to the columns that you just put up, like this. If your supervisor is working extra hard, give him a water break. Now get a Phillips screwdriver and start tightening them up. Supervisor Mittens is making sure that no one is getting in trouble. In the end, it should look a little something like this. Now that we are done constructing the bottom part, we will use these wooden dowels to put into these 2 holes so that we can make the top part and connect them on securely. For the top part, you are going to need the D's, which was actually the I's but were labeled wrong, so they say D. And we need the G's and the H. And we also need the other E, the one without the holes. And we're gonna put them up just as we did the other piece. And after the top part is done, it should look a little like this. The top part, you put mirror P. You just slide it in just as you did to the first one. Just like that. And you do that to both. Now the top piece is almost complete. You put the glass R into these 2 front poles. Just as before, you put the cam nuts into the hole right there into each pole. You put piece A on to the structure you just built. So it looks like that. Make sure that this side comes to the top and the nice polished side goes to the bottom. Now you can use a Phillips screwdriver and tighten the nails that come up. After you have tightened up all your bolts, then your top piece is done. Now you have your bottom piece and your top piece. So these wooden dowels that we put into those holes before, on the bottom piece of this, there are two holes that match onto them. So when you lift this onto them, make sure that the holes fit onto these dowels. This is what it looks like when the top one goes on top of the bottom one. Mittens is checking if it's all going. Attach this magnet from these wood screws to here, 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 and here. These are the shelf supports, and they go right there. But it's a little loose, so we're going to wrap some tape around it, just so it'll be a more snug fit. And then you just push it in and keep the glass shelves on top of it. There should be 4 glass shelves, 2 to go on the top and 2 to go on the bottom. You can vary the placement of the glass by repositioning these shelf holders to any of these 3 holes. Carefully place it on top of the shelf holders. Put 2 on the top and the bottom. This is what it looks like when all of the glasses are put in place. Get the glass door lettered M. There should be 2 of these to put in the bottom, and then you have these glass door hinges, 2 of them, and you need 2 plastic screws for each hinge, and you're gonna put them right here into the hole and put the glass on top into the hinge, and then up here you're going to put it the same way and slide the glass in that way. Then you're gonna get your plastic screws and tighten them up. You can use a Phillips screwdriver. And then you do the same thing down here. Put in the plastic screws and tighten them up. And you're going to do that on both sides. So there's a door here between these 2 and over here. So you get this glass door marked with M. And then you have these glass door hinges. You have 2 of them, and you have these plastic screws, and you need 2 for both of them. And then you also have this glass door nip, which comes with this little foam piece with a sticky back. And first you have to get one of your hinges and place it into the hole right there. And then place your glass on top of it. And then do the same for the top. You have a hole. And then slide your glass into it. Then you use your plastic screws to tighten it in place. So these glass doors open when you push it, and when you push it again, it closes and locks into the magnet. So you do that for the bottom. And they're Phillips screws, so you need a Phillips screwdriver. Then you have, now you get your nip and that piece of sticky foam and put it right here where the magnet is. That'll help the door lock into place. And then you get that sticky back foam and you peel the paper off so it's all sticky. Now you paste that onto the glass where the nip will go. Then you get your nip and slowly press it down into that foam. It's going to be a snug fit. And then when you push it, it should open. And when you push it again, it should lock tightly. Okay, so last time doing the other door on the bottom section, we made a mistake by making in the hinges the screws were facing outwards. So when you're doing the top half, we fixed that, but when you're going to do it, make sure that the screws are facing inward. So it's facing like that. So from the outside you don't see any screws. Yeah. Make sure you don't see any of those. So the top part, the top door is labeled L. It's a bit longer. So make sure it slides into there. And just like last time, we're gonna put the hinges on and make sure that the screws are inside and not outside. And then put the nip and the plastic screws just as you did before and install both of the top glass. Okay, so we're almost done. We're putting up the backboards and the bottom Half is K, the wood with the letter K on it. Now we use our wood screws and put them into those holes in this. And you can use the Phillips screwdriver. Tighten all of them up and keep on screwing them in all the way up.